Good evening, everybody. It's 9:30 on the East Coast, 6:30 on the West Coast. On a Monday, it must mean it's time for your weekly Claim to Jane live stream. James, how are you doing on this flawedly executed intro of a night?
Oh wow, that was huge improvement compared to a couple of weeks ago, I guess, when we had the more drawn out, more unique take on our
I
opening.
don't. I don't even remember. It must have been so bad I blocked it from my memory.
Maybe it was a couple of weeks back or something like that. I don't know, but I remember like we've had a couple of openings where they're just kind of they entertain me, considering like with your squeak voice, for example.
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, that was a fun one
Yeah,
for sure.
so we've had some. Yeah, so this one was just like kind of par for the course and good. It was. I commend you on your flawless delivery for opening it up tonight. So
I should at this point. I should be so practiced that I never screw it up. But alas. I'm only ever capable about hitting about 80% on any effort. I can't. I just can't break past 80%.
80% is good. Let's shoot for that.
All right. Well, I think we're doing okay right now. So, what are we working on tonight before we launch into some random thing?
Sure. Let me share screen, and we're away. So tonight I am going to resume. So first of all. We were supposed to stream last week, so I just wanted to say that we weren't on last week because life does happen sometimes. And my dad was not feeling well, and he was hospitalized for a little bit, so I was keeping tabs on him that night. So
is he doing okay now? Or?
Yeah, he's stable now and stuff like that. Everything's okay. So, but yeah, for a little bit there, I was trying to just monitor family stuff, and so that's why I couldn't. I was a little bit distracted last Monday. But we're back and we're good. And so we're going to resume where we left off 2 streams ago, I think, where I was just doing the scene with the Warhog getting ready to yell and roar at Calamity. And I'm on this pose now where the Warhog's mouth is open and it's going to do that giant Warhog squeal of his. So that's where we'll start to perspective.
All right. Lovely. So I guess we'll start by saying, so you saw U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas last week.
Yeah, so it was an amazing experience. So Mita's cousin bought her and myself some tickets. We drove out to Vegas last week. We were there hanging out with family for the past pretty much that week of last week in Vegas. And yeah, U2 was phenomenal. I have to say, I appreciate U2 from afar. I mean, they're a great band. They're not my particular band. I have other interests for music, jazz and metal and everything like that. But U2's a good band. I mean, I've gone with Amita to a couple of concerts and they really put on a good show. So this one was for any kind of concert period or seeing a band, it's the most unique experience I've seen. Going to the Sphere and watching them live. And I think as we were talking before stream, the best way to describe it was imagine going to the planetarium and then having IMAX as part of your screen as well, and then having your favorite band play and then watching them take advantage of that technology and that environment. And that's what you got with the U2 concert. It was phenomenal. It was a really cool experience to witness. So, yeah. If you're lucky enough to get tickets and you have the means to buy the tickets because they're expensive, I would say try to go and see them. They really do put on a good show.
So the inside of the Sphere it's got like some 1,000,000K resolution thing. I mean, is it just all a bunch of really super high resolution LED screens, or like what is it? What is the sensation when you're inside of that thing?
So imagine going into Cerebro in X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Walking into that, and you're in a sphere. So it's a Cerebro. Like Amita's cousin was pretty much like, yeah, it's like in X-Men movies. Like, yeah, that's perfect description. When everything's off. So it's like you're looking at like I don't want to disparage by saying it looks like concrete, but that's the texture that you kind of see around you. Is like a concrete sphere inside pretty much, but it's all gridded out. But and I was looking at it, I was kind of studying it, and I was trying to like take it apart, because I'm not here for the magic. I'm here to understand technically like how they're doing stuff. And I even took some video and footage and stuff like that just to kind of keep a sense of stuff. But when the lights go out, you don't see any of that anymore, and then it becomes the performance. So what I was watching is yes, you have this giant. It's not a giant screen. It feels like it's like just pretty much a place to have projections thrown onto it.
Mm-hmm.
So behind, as you're sitting and looking in within the sphere itself, the audience is actually on one of the curves of the sphere, and then you're looking downward-ish
Mm-hmm.
towards the other side of the sphere itself, and you can look up and down. But you can't look around 360. You can't look around behind you and see stuff. No, everything is kind of within your vision of just when you're sitting still, and whatever the scientific term is for how much we can see with our eyes, that'll pretty much fill your senses. But when I would decide to look away, I started looking and try to see, okay, is it screens? I had the same questions you had. So is it screens or not? And I looked behind me and I saw all these little crevices and holes, with it would pretty much look like projectors, like really high tech projectors that were sending signals everywhere, all over. That's how I understood it. Now I could be completely wrong, and maybe there's a documentary or something that explains how the sphere works. But so my understanding though was, projectors project everything on the sphere, and we're watching that. So, which I think makes the most sense anyway, because I can't imagine doing that many screens and trying to sync everything together and like one thing goes out. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, it's a marvel. It's a technical marvel for sure.
Yeah, I would imagine some sort of a projector technology is probably way more efficient. I mean, the maintenance on those screens, I don't even know how you would get to the ones on the very top, right? I mean, just seems ridiculous. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that it's a series of highly advanced, synced up projector technology. And I don't know if you've seen, but like projection mapping has gotten very, very high tech, where you can actually like outline a surface that you want to project onto, right? And then so you've got these really, really interestingly complex projectors with these pieces of software that go along with it, and you can actually map out the space that you want to project onto. And so you can do, I don't know if you've heard of like the Van Gogh experience, where you just in a big giant room, a multi-surfaced room. That's what they use. They use projection mapping to like project onto different surfaces, and the computer knows basically, because you tell it what it's projecting onto, and then you can control all the images and stuff. It's really interesting technology. And so it wouldn't surprise me that they're using some sort of variation of that technique for the sphere. But it remains to be seen. To me, though, my question is like, how do they do the outside of it, though? Right? Like that has to be some sort of illuminated. Like you're not projecting onto that, right? That's got to be a screen, right?
Yeah, that has to be a screen. You're right about that. I didn't even think about that. Like it's funny. I was all about the inside. I didn't even think about the outside. But yeah, the outside. It had the Octoon baby, like art and stuff like that. And everything was kind of rotating around on it, and I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you're right. I didn't even focus any of my piddly little hamster wheels to look at it and kind of study that, which I now I regret doing. Now I'm like, now when you go back, at least I don't have to buy tickets. Now I can just stand at the outside. And
yeah, right.
Twitter, but it's true. How the outside. Unless they pay one of the casinos to rent space on the other buildings to project onto it, I don't know what else they could have done.
I've got to believe some sort of a screen system, because there's none of the buildings, as far as I'm aware, are tall enough in Vegas to project onto the top of it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Wow,
it's super
that's a
crazy.
Good question.
Yeah,
it's got to be screened on the outside. Now I'm really curious. I'm gonna.
I'm sure you can look it up. Yeah, right, exactly.
We'll look it up, yeah.
Our focus should be different, should not be on looking up the technology of the sphere, I feel like. But that being said, yeah, definitely something to research later. For my part, I didn't do anything nearly as exciting other than going to the first of many Christmas parties this season. But I did play through, since the last stream, I've played through Arkham Asylum and Arkham City again, as expected. And they're great. I'm about to wrap up on City. I didn't finish all of the Riddler trophy stuff, but I just don't think I have the energy to do it. I got about 2/3 of the way through, and I'm like, I'm not really having fun doing this anymore. And that's always my cue to stop. That's always my cue to stop. So
I will say that you've already beat it originally, but the original fight was pretty fun. I recall though.
It was, and it's a shame that you have to go through such a nasty grind to get there. But yeah, it was a puzzle. It was like,
oh yeah, okay.
Riddler's in the center of the room, and you have to use every single tool that you have in the game to get to him, right? Even like the optional ones. It's pretty cool how they structured it, but I just frankly don't want to take the time. Like I said, I'm about 2/3 of the way through, and I'm like, this isn't really fun anymore. So I'll probably do a bunch of the side stuff, because they have these extra little mini story arcs, like with Catwoman and a couple other characters, and I'll play through those for a little bit, and then I will at least see what Arkham Knight, how that works. It is apparently unplayable.
Online it is getting wrecked online.
Yeah,
people are really mad about this port when it comes to Arkham Knight. Like, it's like the frame rate's really bad. You can't even play it.
Apparently it crashes constantly. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. But at least they got Arkham City and Arkham Asylum right.
Honestly, those are both great. Those are
yeah.
And the other. You go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's not. I mean, is it really that important to play the BattleTank missions? I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth revisiting those anymore. But yeah. Anyways, you're saying.
I mean, I remember the Batmobile was certainly very fun to drive around in Arkham Knight. I mean, there's no denying that. So, but given that that's such a core element of that game, the fact that it apparently does not work at all is disappointing that they didn't. But this is pretty much Warner Brothers. I mean, I think we talked about it the last time we were on the stream, that I had to, or maybe we didn't. Maybe we just talked about it offline. But after I downloaded Arkham Asylum, I had to completely power cycle my Switch to get it to run for some reason.
Over text we were kind of talking about this a little bit. And how absurd was it you had to do that?
But once I did that and it worked, I mean, they're basically perfect ports, complete with all of the content that was released, and they're great games. I mean, there's not really much to say that people haven't already experienced. I mean, if you haven't played the Arkham games, you should at least buy. I mean, for $60 for 2 games, what's $30 per? That's not bad for classics. I mean, and you can give Arkham Knight a try. I mean, I haven't, so I can't say how overblown the internet the internet's opinion is, because I tend to be a lot more forgiving of things like frame rates and muddy textures and that kind of stuff. So I'm not forgiving when it comes to crashes, so that might be an issue, but we'll see, I guess. But I mean, the Arkham Knight was, and when I heard that they were going to put it on the Switch, I was sort of like, okay. I don't know how this is going to work. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't surprise me too much, because that game was a graphics powerhouse, and frankly, it still is. I mean...
Yeah, it's a marvel to look at and to play.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a good game. It's not the best out of the 3, but it's still good.
Yeah. Someone made a point, and I was like, oh, that would have been a much better way to go. Rather than trying to do Arkham Knight, they should have resurrected Arkham Origins and done Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins instead of Arkham Knight, given the sort of disaster that it appears that port has become.
Yeah, and what they could have done, and this is us just. It's a great suggestion to go that way. And if it was sold well, then you could use that money to just kind of justify doing a remaster of Arkham Knight or something like that for all
if the
systems.
audience really wants it,
if they really wanted it, But
the other question too is with the Switch 2 rumors looming, right? It's sort of like it feels strange, the timing of this port, right? Also, I don't even know where, the Switch has been out since 2017, and they're just now doing the Arkham games on it. It's super weird. I mean, it came out of left field, and I'm glad that I gotten the chance to kind of sit in my bed and play Arkham Asylum and Arkham Origins. It was everything I was hoping it would be, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday I was feeling pretty under the weather, and I spent most of the day just lounging in bed after my roommate and I went and got ramen. I was like, let the ramen settle my stomach a little bit, and then just sat in my bed. Penny slept on the ground and played Arkham City for like, I don't know, 5 hours.
Oh, nice.
It was actually a nice Sunday. You know, every once in a while you need one of those just I'm gonna be lazy and irresponsible days.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday was a good day for that. So, yeah, but I finished Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight. I'm gonna do a bunch of the side content in Arkham City before I finally dive into Arkham Knight and see
Mm-hmm.
how bad it ended up being. You know, a small hope is that they might go through and try to fix some of the crash issues, maybe do a minor optimization pass. It remains to be seen, though. I mean, it's gotten such horrible reviews on the internet. I suspect it'll probably not sell enough to justify spending the money to do a round of optimizations on it,
Hmm.
which I think we've talked about in the past, in the previous episode. But you know, oh well.
But
That's
so, have there been, like, as you fired up the game, have there been patches released for it that you've had to download to kind of
I don't
help
know.
with it,
I
or?
don't know. Since I downloaded the digital version, any patch that had been released on launch day
Yeah.
was just automatically included with the download, and there hasn't
Okay.
been any updates since I purchased it. But it came out like less than 2 weeks ago, so it's unlikely that if they're going to do a patch, it's going to be it won't be for several months, honestly. And you know, I just don't. Again, I don't see it coming, honestly.
Wow, it's so, yeah, it's kind of a weird. I can't think of a I can't think of the last game that came out where they released a product that was unplayable, like portion of it was unplayable. I can't remember the last time. It's kind of embarrassing for
Well, Cyberpunk
uh
2077 was basically unplayable
yeah,
when it launched.
yeah, and that was what, 3 years ago now, something like
Yeah,
that. And
and
now
now it's
everybody likes
apparently
it.
phenomenal. Yeah, like after
Hmm.
they released it and then spent 3 years actually finishing the game. And then I
Yeah.
remember Fallout New Vegas was the same way. It was nearly
Mm.
unplayable when it launched. And it's the same thing. Like if you go back and play it now, all the bugs are fixed, or at least all the ones that matter are fixed.
But here's the thing. Here's what bothers me about this one is so with, and again, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think Cyberpunk and Fallout, they were released on multiple consoles, right? And they were trying to, and so some, like, you would have some success with some um versions of playing it versus others. Whereas the Switch, I don't understand. There shouldn't be any excuse for this. Like, it's on this console. Where was the, we talked about this on text, but
Yeah.
like, obviously QA would have caught this. It's just so, it's like that. It's not like they said, oh well, at least we have it working on the PS5 or something like that. No, the issue is you released it for the Switch and you bragged about it being an exclusive. Well, not exclusive, but it's on the Switch. It's the official Switch version, and it's this bad. It's like you didn't release it multiple places on launch day. You released it on the Switch, and it's this bad. It's had years of being launched everywhere, PC, whatever. And yeah, that's where I feel like it's just a little bit disheartening to see that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird one for sure. There's no question about it. I don't know why you invest the spend. I mean, the initial spend um, is done, right? They spent that money, and you would think that they would spend some time at least doing some sort of. I don't know. I guess I'd be really interested to talk to the executives who greenlit the Arkham Knight port, right? Like why if it yeah, I'm not you did a perfectly adequate job of explaining it. Like why? If you couldn't do it, if you couldn't make something
Yeah,
that was stable, why spend the money in the first place? Right?
yeah,
Um
and yeah, I almost wish like they should have just released just the first two and say, yeah, we're releasing the first two, and we'll release the third one next year or something like that, and
yeah.
release it for $20 or something. I don't know. It makes WB look bad,
Well, I
and
mean
considering they're,
they do plenty of that on their own, right?
I know, but they have a good stable of games that they can kind of have a reputation on, which Arkham had a great reputation. I mean, I know. I mean, like, as far as the IP, like, we have, what else they own? Mortal Kombat. We always look forward to seeing Mortal Kombat. So I don't really play Mortal Kombat that much. I still, yeah, but I did buy Mighty 11 on sale, but like they have these brands, and then when things like this happen, it's like it kind of hurts the whole global WB brand thing that they got going
Yeah,
on.
no, I agree. I mean, just from the standpoint of brand maintenance, you would think that they would want to release the best product possible, and I can't
Mm-hmm.
imagine this like horrible word of mouth doing them any good because I don't. I mean, this is these series of games. I mean, Arkham Knight came out in what 2016, so you know,
Yeah,
like 7 years ago. They're all of their main money is has been spent on this, right? And the big draw for I think releasing it on the Switch is people like me who want to be able to play these classic games laying in bed, right?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just don't believe that there was enough day one sales of people like me to justify releasing a sub quality port and just taking the money and running, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absorbing the bad press from the bad port and going, well, we got our initial day one sales and that's all we care about, right? Um, and so it strikes me as weird that they would commit to something like this and then not deliver in a better capacity. And I just would, it just doesn't, for me, it doesn't make any financial sense on any level why they did it. But I don't know. Maybe they got in too deep and they thought that they could do it. They thought they could do it, and they just couldn't. And it was sort of like, well, we've already spent this money, and it's good enough to pass Nintendo cert, so let's just do it and cut our losses. It could have been one of those types of things, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully they do release a patch, and then you're able to.
Even if it's just a stability pass, right? Just
Mm,
solve some of the crashing issues that seem to be plaguing it. But
yeah,
oh well.
yeah. Well, indeed. I mean, I guess yeah. Just all we can do now is hope, and you've bought a game that at least 75% works or so, roughly, and
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully the rest kicks in. Um, but speaking of other games on the Switch and portable, and this, and I don't know, I don't. This could be me just getting older, or it could just be what I've always had with games. So I'm allergic pretty much to playing FPS games for the most part, except for if they have a solidified HUD like a Metroid Prime, where I can actually put my eyes to it and everything like that, and then I'm okay. I can play it for a lot longer. But FPS was my weakness for playing games for a long time. Well, and then I finally picked up, and this is based on your recommendation. I bought this game months ago. I just haven't had a chance to play it. But I fired up Vampire Survivors,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so I took the Switch with me to Vegas. So I was playing it small, before bed and stuff like that. Um, there's so much going on in that game that I think I actually got tired. By the time we got back, I actually started like my eyes started like crying and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
weird.
at first,
Eye
and I was like,
fatigue.
at first I was, yeah, I was like, at first I was like, what the heck am I? Do I have like a pink eye or something like that? What's going on? And then it would just kind of subside. If I wasn't looking at the screen, it would subside. I didn't know at the time. I was like, okay, am I getting sick or something? Then I would pick it up again, start playing small. Once again, my eye would start crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, this game is actually taxing for my
Giving you
left
eye
eye.
strain.
It was giving me an eye strain. And then it's funny, like it's the first time where I fired up the game and you see it. Like I don't know, you probably didn't notice this, we all get, we kind of get used to the muscle memory of okay, here's a epilepsy warning and stuff like that. No, but they actually put it there pretty blatant. Hey, by the way, this game pretty much, and then the legalese pretty much says this causes epilepsy and eye strain. Like, yeah, it does. I mean, holy cow! Now I'm conflicted with this game, Eric, because the game is great. The gameplay loop is great. I
Yeah.
enjoy it, but it's causing eye strain when I play. So I can't play it small. So like you're talking about how you're kicking your feet up and playing Arkham in bed. I can't do that with Firebar. I can't. I wish I could. I'm very envious of you and your healthy eyes because you're able to do that, and I cannot do that with Vampire Survivors.
I mean,
Unfortunately,
resistance to eye strain and absolutely zero color blindness are the only things that I can say are good about my eyes. That's it. I'm
that's
blind as a bat. I have astigmatism in both eyes. I can't wear contacts because my eyes are too sensitive for them. I mean, so I guess I will take that I'm resistant to eye strain when playing Vampire Survivors, and that I'm not colorblind. So you
Yeah,
take what you can
yeah.
get. I feel like.
So yeah, the game itself though. So when I play it big, I play it on my. I'm fine for the most part, but my left eye still kind of goes, yeah, I remember this a little bit, like it's some sort of background application. Yeah, I don't know if I still like this game or not. I like the game from a mental standpoint, but I will say now I played it enough now to where I last pretty much half an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and then Death or the Grim Reaper shows up, the boss I think, and just sits on top of you, and then you just die. It's really annoying, and now I don't know whether I like the game anymore or not. Like, is it worth my
You
time?
you
You know,
unlock the
just
ability to turn that off, and then you can go, and it just like it's there's an infinite mode that you'll unlock, and then you can just play for as long as you want, and then the challenge becomes how long can you survive. I think the Grim Reaper can be killed. I've never been able to do it. Um,
okay.
but at least in the default mode, the objective is how many points can you score in 30 minutes, and then you can unlock the other mode where it's just like how long can you last, right? And that might be inverse mode. I can't remember what it's called. Um, but yeah, so yeah, there's basically two ways to play. How high a score can you get in 30 minutes, and then how long can you last? Those are like the two different modes. Um, and yeah, it's just that's the loop. You keep playing, you keep doing different things. You can look at the secrets list, and it kind of gives you a roadmap on what you need to do to unlock the different stuff. Um,
Okay.
and then there's a couple FAQs online if you can't figure one of those things out. And yeah, and then it's just like I mean we talked about it in the past. It burnt really bright for me. I played it a lot for a couple of weeks, and then I sort of like moved on to other things. But I might come
Hmm.
back and revisit it because I think they just released like a new like story mode to play, which
Okay.
I don't know what that's all about. So I'll have to give that a go and see what that's like. But yeah, it was
Okay.
fun. It was super fun for for a couple of weeks. Like just kind of just the chaos of the experience and just
Yeah.
all of and the sound effects are they're perfect. Like they're exactly what they need to be, right? Um,
Hmm.
if the soundscape was any more complex, it would just be a cacophony of noise and it would be unplayable. But all the sound effects are very simple, but clear as to what they represent. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I had a great time with it. I can't I really enjoyed Vampire Survivors.
Yeah. I aside from just sacrificing my eye health, I enjoyed the game as well. Yeah, this is definitely it, and again, it's not like you. This is the most complicated recommend that I've had from you in a while. Where, of course, it's not like you had the foresight to know about my
Right.
eye health, but it's conflicted. It's a conflicting play for this game because I want to play it more. I don't know. I just don't know. I just play it in smaller bursts. But yeah, but then the other part of it was like after I was the first two levels, I was able to just play for half an hour straight and then just die instantly. And then I thought, okay, well, this is, and yes, I can go online, but I'm lazy when it comes to that stuff. I'd rather just talk to Eric, and then ask you the questions because you are more of the pro vampire survivor. You are a vampire survivor compared to me, and I can't even survive it. So yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, it is a good game. It's a great game.
yeah. There's a ton of modifiers that allow you to change. You can increase the difficulty. You can increase the play speed. You can turn on and off the timer, and it basically lets you control what your objectives are for a particular run through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can put a cap on how big the weapon size is. That's on by default, but you can also turn that off. And I've seen builds where like the weapons get as large as the screen.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and
Huh.
you don't even see the enemies on screen because they're all being killed off the edges of the screen, but all the numbers and everything are still going up, and so there's all these crazy like builds that people do to see just how many monsters they can kill per second, right? Like you basically it's one of these games where you kind of have all these options to set your own objectives. Like what am I looking for this playthrough? What am I trying to accomplish here and there,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So it's I mean, yeah, we've talked about it at length on this stream. It's a lot of fun. I can't recommend it enough for anybody who's looking for just sort of a mindless. I mean, it's one of those games that I would play while talking on the phone or listening to a podcast, right? Because it takes almost no mental energy to play whatsoever. It's just
No, I totally get that too because, like I said, like I've gotten down to where I know which weapons to get pretty much, and I'm not even that far into it like you are. But I've got to a point where I could like walk away and make coffee or something like that and let it just sit there
yeah,
in the corner. And for the most part, it'll kill everything on the screen. And I come back and just keep resuming. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
after you get a certain point of upgrades and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really funny.
It's
It's a really cool and funny game.
yeah. Given the amount of chaos, it's a surprisingly calming game once you get into the rhythm of it. Which is an odd thing to say, but
once you get the rhythm of it, it's right. Yeah.
I mean, I would, when I was still really into it, I would play that before going to bed, right? Because it's mindless. It's just something to just keep your mind focused so it's not drifting and you're not overthinking on anxieties, what have you. You're just sort of
yeah.
So. But yeah, yeah, I'm glad you finally got into it. I saw that you were playing it the other day, and I'm like, it's happening.
Yeah, it is just like you said, an addictive game loop. It's a lot of fun. It's a good game. But yeah, but I have to take breaks from it.
Yeah,
because I'll start crying from my left eye.
Clearly,
for no reason.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
you just
it's like, man,
you do not have the body for video games. Well, like I can.
I don't.
Yeah.
No, I keep collecting different types of ailments from them. It's where I just But yeah, here I am, glutton for punishment.
Glutton for punishment.
Especially if the game looks good.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna go see this weekend, and I ended up not. But there's a couple movies, and hopefully I'll get to see one of them this weekend. We can talk about it next time we do the stream. Which actually I need to let you know, I don't think we're going to be able to do a stream next week. I have a rehearsal for a show, and I need to.
Okay.
I can't get out of it, so
cool.
So we'll be off next Monday as well. Just it's a preview for that. But hopefully the next time we are on, I will have seen at least one of those movies. But Godzilla Minus One apparently is amazing. And
so this is the number one topic I want to talk to you about last week, and then again with my dad being in the hospital. But yes, it is amazing.
You did go see it? Okay.
Meet and I went to go see that. But yeah, we'll pause it now. Let you keep going for a second.
Then Nick Cage's new flick, Dream Scenario, which I want to see. Which is he plays a professor who keeps showing up in people's dreams, and things escalate from there. And then Hayao Miyazaki's what could be his last film, The Boy and the Heron, which also looks amazing. So hopefully I'll be able to see between one and all of those movies by the next time we reconvene for our stream. But you're saying that Godzilla Minus One is great?
Yeah, I'm gonna. So I'll be heading to Utah, obviously for the holidays, and I'll see if I take as an excuse to take my nephews to take them to it. But it is terrific. I think it's a great throwback to the original, the OG Godzilla movies. I'll wait for you to go see it, then we can talk about it more and rave about it, because we are gonna. I think this is a guaranteed rave fanboy movie scenario for this one. It's terrific. Everything about it was great. The pacing was good. It's the first Godzilla movie ever that I will say had me caring about the human story.
Really?
And not being like rolling my eyes, looking at my watch, going, okay, when's this over? When's the monster show up? That type of stuff.
Right.
No, it's the first movie that's actually intertwined the human element with Godzilla. It was absolutely terrific. It's my favorite. Right now, it's really hard to say, but it is up there. It's probably top 3 as one of my favorite Godzilla movies ever. Easily. Right now, for recency bias, I would say it has to be number 2, because obviously you can't go wrong with, the original ones. There's any of the original ones you could pick, and you kind of say it's number 1. But it is so good. It is such you could tell the director. I can't remember the name of the director, but he's clearly well versed in Godzilla. Even the design of Godzilla had that awkward looking kind of feel to it, like the rubber suits did back in the back in the day. yeah, everything about it. But again, it's still a new take on Godzilla in some ways too. But it's just it takes the past and it has a reverence to it. It's awesome. It just can't recommend it enough. That's the one you got to go see. Nicolas Cage, you and I have talked about Nicolas Cage before. I'm always rolling my eyes at that one. So out of the ones you just mentioned, and obviously, Miyazaki, his animated films are terrific too. But I still think Godzilla wins out of everything.
Okay.
Personally,
okay.
So make that the priority before it leaves theaters. You have to see it.
Oh no, that seems like a movie that you have to see big. Yeah, for sure.
You need to see it big. Yeah, before it leaves. So that was the other thing, and that's why I was going to talk to you about this last week because I was kind of worried that it wouldn't make enough money, and I was going to text you, and I just got like with Vegas.
No, it's a bit of a hit. Yeah, it's a bit of a hit, so it should stick around for a while. And also, there's nothing coming out. Like they got to keep something in the theaters, right? So
yeah,
I suspect that it'll stick around at least for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm hoping so because it's worth it. It's deserved. It's well deserved. I hope it. I mean, it's probably I'm just trying to think about it. Out of all the movies I've seen this year, I think it's my favorite movie this year.
Really? Wow.
That I've seen in theaters. Yeah, even with that said, like I'm trying to think here. What have we seen in the theaters now? We've seen a couple of Marvel movies that come out, and none of them were really incredible. They're okay. They kind of just did the Marvel-y thing. Yeah, I don't know. Can you think of any movies that have come out that's you liked Oppenheimer a lot? I remember that.
I did like Oppenheimer. I don't know that a lot is the right word, but I did. I enjoyed it, especially given that it was a Christopher Nolan movie, and I'm not a huge Nolan fan.
Okay, I mean, it's really. When I was watching Godzilla, because I was thinking about this, like, okay, what are the movies of the year? Well, Oppenheimer, which is about the bomb, or Godzilla, which is because historically they pretty much had it as a result of the bomb. That was their menace and all that stuff. And again, this movie, it's almost like it's kind of weird. If you want to be a movie nerd, you can actually go see Oppenheimer and then watch Godzilla, and they'd almost be seamless in a strange way. I know it's totally wrong to say that in some ways, but. Godzilla had origins out of that, And they touch on that in the movie. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but Godzilla absolutely was a metaphor for the atomic war. Yeah.
And they touch on that in the movie. So again, that's why you need to go see it. It's terrific.
Yeah, I'll try to go see it this week, maybe this weekend for sure.
Yeah. Well. Hopefully you'll see that. Then the next time we catch up, which will probably be, I guess, because we're kind of getting into the holidays pretty quick here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. It's coming up fast. I got Christmas parties pretty constantly. And then, the next 2 weeks, and then it's Christmas.
So, it's going to be kind of spotty for us doing our stream. If you're out for next week, then I think Christmas falls on a Monday.
Yeah, it does. So we might be... Yeah, I think we're off until the new year at this point.
Yeah, because then New Year's the following week, right?
Yeah, the first is on Monday. Yeah, so
this will be our last stream for the year of 2023.
Yeah, wow. And then I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. So by then though you'll be ending the new year by hopefully seeing Godzilla Minus One and starting off the new year with a technical last year's movie, but starting off right with something good like that. So, so that's good. I'm glad you have that on your radar for Godzilla.
Yeah, for sure.
And as far as I think we're pretty good here for the Warhog stuff. Like as we were talking on the stream, like you may have seen me drawing some red sketch type of stuff. Yeah. These are all just extra poses I'm going to grab either from the rest of the file and then put here, so I just have a little bit of. But just a pose here I want to put here to kind of help ease into this transition to this. And then one little antic pose to kind of go down and then go up into his roar.
Okay.
So I'll be looking for that stuff a little bit later. And I may want to do a new drawing for this one because I could just angle this down. But I might want to do more of a squashy kind of looking pose for that one. Then he'll roar. And this is the final pose for when he'll pass out. But we're in good shape here and I'll keep working on that. I think by the time the New Year starts, I'll probably have something else to be working on, but this is where I'm going to stop for tonight, I think.
Cool. Very cool. Well, on that note, then we will call it a night. Here we go. You can find us on Facebook or YouTube, which is presumably what you're watching us on right now. Also, you can check Calamity Jane That Rocks. That'll take you to our Patreon site. Please consider joining us on this adventure to make this cartoon a reality. We're also on Instagram and Threads at Calamity Jane Salamander. I've started posting on Threads, and we're going to continue doing that. But I also we're doing weekly posts with links to, right now it's links to the stream and also some nice concept art and some captions that explaining the context of the art. So it's some backstory, some actual how the sausage gets made backstory on some of this stuff. So I recommend checking it out and seeing what that's all about. But otherwise, I'd say that's all of the final rounding thoughts I have for the evening. Happy New Year, everybody, I guess, or have a great Christmas, have a great New Year. I didn't realize that this was going to be our last one for the year. I would have gotten streamers or something, but
yeah, no, but yeah, that's how it is. I mean, it's good that we did the math and we figured it out. Yes, this is going to be our last one for the year.
Yeah, but I figure we'll be back on the 1st. Hopefully, we don't something doesn't come up that prevents us from doing it on the 1st. But otherwise, we'll see you in 2024. Good Lord, I can't believe it's that close. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. Have a great night. We'll see you in the new year. Good night.